so we haven't got... Yeah. So if they're not here, they'll probably turn up, so we won't do a recording. Excuse me, councillors. We're just about to begin. If you want to take your seats. Thank you, councillors. Okay, so welcome back to the 778th Ordinary Council meeting. I hereby move a motion that in accordance with section 261 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the meeting be reopened at a time at 9:03. Is there a seconder for the motion? Councillor Karansky has seconded the motion. So, Councillor second, does anyone wish to speak to the motion? I take it not. I now open the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously, therefore the motion has been carried. Now, I'd just like to advise meeting attendees that this meeting is being webcast and audio recorded. So I'd like to now to begin today's meeting by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we are gathered and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Aboriginal and or Torres Strait Islander peoples, please also acknowledge that this meeting is live streamed and contain the names of a person who has passed away. Now, we're going to reflection. Can the gallery please be upstanding, and if you're able to join me for a moment of contemplation. I'd like to take some time out today to reflect on the ideas of unity and diversity, two concepts which I believe go hand in hand. Firstly, unity in our sense of togetherness. It is our shared values and goals. As an organisation and as a community, we have many shared values which bind us together. Our shared goals as a council, of which there are many, perhaps most importantly, the goal of working together to improve the lives of every person in Logan. I see this as a common thread that runs through all that we do. It unites us for a common purpose. The second concept, diversity, celebrates the differences in all of us. Diversity in its many forms is one of the greatest strengths. Diversity of thought, skills, experience, gender, culture, background and age. These two important concepts are fundamental to the way we approach our roles as community leaders. I encourage you to strive towards unity while embracing diversity in its many forms. I'd like to share with you the following Buddhist quote. He who experiences the unity of life sees his own self in all beings, and all beings in his own self, and looks on everything with an impartial eye. Thank you, councillors. Councillors, we have leave of absences. Councillor Raven.
Mr Mayor, Councillor Wilcox has informed me that due to a prior medical commitment, she'll be running about 10 or 15 minutes late. She doesn't need a leave of absence. She just wanted to pass on her apologies for her lateness. I understand Councillor Bannon is only moments away as well.
Okay, thank you very much. There must be a bit of traffic. Okay, we'll keep going. Now we'll go up to condolences. I wish to extend our sincerest condolences to the family of Auntie Elaine Williams of Eagleby, who passed away on Sunday, 27th of September. Auntie Elaine Williams was a proud Yungambar elder whose father was a Murungjali man and her mother was a Birringabi woman. Raised in a family of 6 children, Auntie Elaine was both a Yungambar traditional owner and a descendant of Billan, known as King of the Logan. Auntie Elaine was a kind-hearted, much respected elder and a pillar of Logan's community. She had a passion for education, graduating from Teachers College as a mature age student to become a teacher within the city of Logan. During her career, Auntie Elaine taught Yungambar language in local schools. She felt strongly about the importance of education for all children. Auntie Elaine was an advocate for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children having the opportunity to learn and be educated. She believed in sharing history with her grandchildren and nurtured them in understanding of the importance of family, truthfulness and respect. We are grateful that Auntie Elaine, together with her sister Auntie Robin Williams, have been very supportive of Logan City Council's journey of reconciliation. Auntie Elaine was always generous in sharing her culture so that all community members in the City of Logan could learn about Aboriginal culture. She was responsible for ensuring that the collection that is now known as the Nyumba Meta was donated to the Logan City Council libraries in 1998 when the Indigenous Education Unit based at Woodridge State School was closed. In 2013, she was part of a digital story project that recorded the stories of 4 significant elders in Logan in their own voices. She continued to support council, the library service and Logan's community through her life. She will be dearly missed by all. Councillors, I now open the floor. Do any other councillors have condolences? Councillor Raven.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I have condolences and so does Councillor Wilcox. If she doesn't arrive by the time I complete my condolence, I'll read hers for her. I'd like to ask that condolences be passed on to the O'Brien family for the passing of Kevin James O'Brien. He's survived by his wife and 2 kids. Now, I didn't know Kevin personally, but he's a larger-than-life character. He's part of the Marsden Catholic community down at St Maximilian Colby, and Father Paul asked me to speak on his behalf to what a colourful and vigorous gentleman that Kevin was. In particular, though, he's had a very colourful career working as an accountant for some very high-flying and famous people in Australia, such as Skase and other interesting characters. But the main thing that his community is most proud of is that Kevin was actually played 2 different codes of football back in his day, in the 50s. The first was AFL, where he played for Carlton, and he played as a ruckman. And his brother played as well. They actually led Carlton to his senior debut was actually a defeat against Richmond in Punt Road. So I can commiserate with him with my team often losing to Richmond down in Melbourne. But he led his team to getting to a premiership in his second year and didn't quite make it across the line. but Kevin also managed to win a premiership playing for the St George Dragons back in the day. So you don't normally see people switch from one code to the other and do so successfully. And ever since then, he's been a valuable part of his community, and he will be sorely missed by the Catholic community in Marsden. Given that Councillor Wilcox has not arrived yet, I will move into her two condolences. The first is for she asked that condolences be passed on to the Savage family. Oh, and she's arrived just in time to speak to the recent passing of Bernie Savage. So, Mr Mayor, with your indulgence, I'll take a very slow seat so that Councillor Wilcox can make her way to her table, to her position, and she can speak to these much more eloquently than I can.
Thank you, Councillor Raven. Before I go to Councillor Wilcox, is there any other condolences? No, okay. Councillor Wilcox, are you ready?
My apologies.
Pressure?
I've just got to bring it up because I've left it sitting on my desk. Give me 2 seconds. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Now I'm all frazzled. Probably do it off. Councillor Raven, have you got it up on your screen, my condolences? Yes, please. May I please borrow it? And my apologies for being late. Zoe had a arm therapy appointment for her not very straight arm still. Thank you.
That's your first one. And then just hold it there and go to that.
Thank you. I would like to ask that my condolences be passed on to the Savage family on the passing of Bernie Savage. Sorry. Beloved father to Mitchell, Catherine and Anna, doting grandfather, husband and friend to all. I apologise because I've known the family for 20 years. Bernie was a much loved part of the community. He was a volunteer firefighter for the Rural Fire Service Queensland and was captain of the Jimboomba Auxiliary for the past 30 years. And more recently was part of the Greenbank Auxiliary. He will be missed by many and my thoughts are with them yesterday and today, especially yesterday with the funeral. And apologies, both of these are actually close. I would also like the council to please pass on my condolences to Caroline Sal's family of Parkridge South, who recently passed away. She was the much-loved mother and mother-in-law of Inga and Tim, and Danica and Gavin, and adored by her grandchildren. Sorry. She was also a huge supporter and part of the Greenbank Gators family. My thoughts are with them. Their funeral was yesterday as well. Sorry. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Wilcox. Councillors, please stand with me if you are able to join me for a moment of reflection in honour of those who have gone before us and in support of those who have left behind. Thank you, councillors. Okay, we're up to congratulations. Now, we did have one yesterday, but unfortunately we don't have anyone coming in to award this, so I will present the report. So we have one congratulations report to consider, which is the which Council has been awarded the Australian Engineers Excellency Award for the Cedar Grove Environmental Centre project. Unfortunately, representatives of Engineer Australia cannot be here today, so I'd like to accept the award on behalf of the Council, and I would also like to acknowledge the many Council officers who made this project a success. This award is demonstration of Council's ongoing commitment to delivering sustainable infrastructure and quality services to the Logan community, which is in real contrast to what was actually printed in the paper. Very disappointed in that article, considering that council won that award. It's proven that the officers went a few steps further than what would normally be taken. So I now move the motion to receive the report. Is there a seconder for the motion? Councillor Lane seconded the motion. I now open the floor. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously. The motion has been carried. Thank you. I now open the floor to councillors. Do any councillors have any congratulations they'd like to raise for us? And I'll start with Councillor Bradley and work my way around.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Could congratulations please be sent to Dr Fu Pham from the Parfrey Place Medical Centre of Rochester South. On Saturday evening, he received a Paul Harris Fellowship Award by the Rotary Club of Wishart. So congratulations please be forwarded on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Councillor Layton.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I've got two congratulations today. The first is Logan Brothers young ladies footballers. The under-12s went through undefeated. I know you've been hanging on this, Mr Mayor, on the results, but the under-12s went through undefeated. The under-14s went down in their final, but the under-16s galloped to victory, and it was an amazing weekend of footy to watch. Congratulations don't just go to the players, it goes to the parents, the coaches, and everyone that makes a big difference in these young ladies' lives and encourages them. So congratulations to Logan Brothers as a united group. The second congratulations goes to Logan Hospital and the staff there. My mother is in the acute ward at the moment, and the staff there are phenomenal. They are just amazing. They work with every fibre of their being. They are passionate about what they do. They care, and they step up every single day in the face of some really substandard behaviour by members of the community. They turn up, they show up, they do their jobs, and they're amazing people. I was there last night with her, and she couldn't have been cared for more beautifully. I know that Betty, I was talking to her this morning, and she said the reason why she wasn't at the local council meetings was because she was in the Logan as well, and she found them to be the most phenomenal staff members. So congratulations to all the staff at Logan Hospital. You do a fantastic job, and in these COVID times, you're doing an amazing piece of work, so thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Russell? No.
No, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Karansky.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I request that congratulations be forwarded to Diana Bryson from the Yarrow Billboard Jobs Exchange. The Exchange is a one-stop shop for employers and employees in and around the Yarrow Billboard community, and last week the Exchange had the honour of actually placing its 1,000th Logan resident in a local job. So I think that's a tremendous outcome for the area, and also a tremendous outcome from the Exchange. These opportunities have been as diverse as providing employment from childcare to construction, and the success really is a testament to the hard work of Diana Bryson and her amazing team, who are committed to supporting the Yarrow Billboard community. And after 4 years, this week the Exchange is relocating to its new home in Daru Street in Yarrow Billboard, so I look forward to them kicking goals moving ahead.
Thank you. Councillor Raven? No. Councillor Hall?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. You may have noticed a little red ribbon right here on my jacket. Councillor Fraser is wearing one as well. Councillor Wilcox was wearing one yesterday. Unfortunately, I think in a rush he may have forgotten to put it on. This little red ribbon is in aid of Amputee Awareness Week, and it was sent to me by the Amputee and Family Support Group Queensland. This is a locally based, non-for-profit, self-help community organisation dedicated to promoting and supporting the needs of amputees and their families, friends and carers. Today I would like to congratulate the efforts of the Amputees and Family Support Group Queensland for helping to bring awareness and for the services that they provide, such as individual and family support, hospital visitation, advocacy, social activities, information and referral, medical aid to new amputees. This week I would like to encourage Logan residents to show their support for amputee awareness by wearing a red ribbon and posting on social media with the hashtag AAWW2020. Now, Mr Mayor, I'd also like to take this moment to congratulate a lovely lady who I grew to know during the local government election. Her name is Deborah Bright. She recently won this year's Frank Lenz Memorial Award for Volunteer of the Year. Deborah's charity, Little Paws Kitten Rescue, is located in Loganley in Division 6. Her organisation is not just about rehoming local cats, but also on educating the public about properly caring for the animals. It also exists to spread joy, with Deborah visiting aged care homes regularly over the years just to bring smiles upon the local residents' faces. Now, I know a lot of people in Logan are very passionate about animals and animal welfare, but I would like to ask everyone who does have a passion for animal welfare to look beyond just sharing viral videos on social media and go the next step and actually donate to an organisation such as Little Paws, because these people are actually out on the ground making a change for the welfare of animals. And I encourage people to donate to Little Paws, and the address you need to go to donate is www.littlepawskittenrescue.org.au. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Councillor Fraser?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Hirameyer?
Not at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Bannon?
Not at this time.
Councillor Stamp?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The 26th of September saw the grand opening of the Tansy Park Community Markets held at the Logan Home Cricket Club at Tanamera, which was organised to raise money for the local sporting clubs which have had a really tough year. With more than 70 stallholders, including local arts and crafts, plants, produce, delicious food, farm animals and rainbow-coloured pony rides, the market was a huge success. I would like to congratulate market organisers Lauren Norris and Shane Andrew Weston for all your hard work in pulling the market together, all the volunteers involved, including the Logan Home State School P&C and the local community for their overwhelming support. As a community, we are looking forward to the next Christmas Twilight Market being held in December.
Thank you, Councillor Stamp. Councillor Wilcox?
Not today.
Councillor Murphy?
Not at this time.
Thank you, councillors. Councillors, I now go to the confirmation of the minutes. So I now refer to the minutes of the previous ordinary council meeting. I move that the minutes of the 777th ordinary council meeting held on the 16th of September 2020 be confirmed. Is there a seconder for the motion? Councillor Bradley has seconded the motion. Does anyone wish to speak to the motion? No. I now open the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously, therefore the motion has been carried. Now we'll go to the confirmation of minutes of the 271st special council meeting. So I now refer to the minutes of the previous special council meeting. I now move that the minutes of the 271st special council meeting held on the 30th of September 2020 be confirmed. Is there a seconder for the motion? Councillor Bradley has seconded the motion. I now open the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously, therefore the motion has been carried. Now, we have no business arising from the minutes to consider, so now we'll go into the committee recommendations. So I now refer to the City Governance Committee meeting held on the 29th of September 2020. Councillor Bradley, Chairperson of City Governance Committee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I note there are no conflicts of interest declared at the City Governance Committee held on the 29th of September 2020. Before we move into discussion, do any councillors have any new conflicts of interest they wish to declare and name the item? Okay, there being none, I will now speak to the recommendations. Item 4.1 and 4.2 monthly reports. It actually shows that our council is sitting in a very good position financially at the end of the financial year and waiting the audit. Our operating surplus was $264,000 with accumulation of one-off funds of $7.8 million. And the end of July, our operating surplus was $3.52 million. So that puts our council in a very good position and just shows how wonderful the staff and our councillor cohort are working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Any other councillors wish to speak on these items? No? Okay, there being no further speakers, Councillor Bradley, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I now move the recommendations of the City Governance Committee held on the 29th of September 2020 be adopted.
Thank you. Councillor Bradley has moved the motion. Is there a seconder to the motion? Councillor Wilcox has seconded the motion. I now put the floor to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried. Therefore, the motion has been carried. City Infrastructure. Now I've referred to the City Infrastructure Committee meeting held on the 29th of September 2020. Councillor Lane, Chairperson of City Infrastructure Committee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. There were no conflicts of interest declared in the committee meeting. Before we move into discussion, do any councillors have any new conflicts of interest to declare on any items? Please advise the item number only at this stage. None. There being none, I will now call for a discussion on the remaining recommendations. There are no remaining recommendations, so I have nothing further to say, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Do any councillors wish to speak? None being... Councillor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I did raise in committee that there were issues in Rochester South along the M1, M3 Gateway merge, and I asked if it was possible for a letter to be sent to TMR, and my understanding that letter has been sent. So TMR actually acquired a number of properties along the M1, M3 Gateway merge and have basically left a number of driveways and uneven footpaths. The road verge and vegetation management has been left in a very undesirable state, attracting vermin. And so those concerns have now been sent on to TMR. There obviously wasn't funds set aside to actually deal with those particular issues, and now there are fire hazard issues and dumping ground, illegal dumping sort of potential in those areas. So now that matter is basically effectively being pushed onto council to address. So in my opinion, that is unacceptable.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. There being no other further speakers, Councillor Lane, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I now move that the recommendations of the City Infrastructure Committee meeting held on 8 September 2020 be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Councillor Lane has moved the motion. Is there a seconder to the motion? Councillor Bannon has seconded the motion. I now put it to the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously. Therefore, the motion has been carried. City Planning, Economic Development, Environment. I now refer to the City Planning, Economic Development, Environment Committee meeting held on the 30th of September 2020. Councillor Raven, Chairperson of the City Planning, Economic Development, Environment Committee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. There were no conflicts of interest declared in the committee. Would any councillors like to declare some now? There being none, I'll move to speak to the recommendations with your indulgence, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, we had a number of confidential reports this round, unfortunately. As you know, I am a big fan of transparency, but when matters are commercial in confidence, we do have to disappear behind the veil until we can speak about them publicly. One item I'd like to speak to does have a bit of detail that isn't confidential though, which is the Loganley train station relocation. As you'll know, Mr Mayor, this was a passion of mine last term because Loganley train station was in my electorate, and now Councillor Hall gets the benefit from the hard work that I put into it over the last 4 years. There's been a number of issues with parking around that train station because it is becoming increasingly popular thanks to the residents that are coming from Councillor Karansky's electorate from Yarrow to catch the train into the city. And there's a number of people citywide who love to use that train station because it is the only express stop other than Beenleigh. This relocation is something the council's been working on since 2013, but it really had lost momentum until I got elected in 2016 and started banging on every single door that I could find, trying to bring the attention to state members, to government departments, and to anyone who would listen that this is a train station that needed relocating, was going to be relocated inevitably in 20 years anyway, and why shouldn't we do it now? It's fantastic that a joint agreement between the state government and the federal government meant that $50 million of funding was brought forward to deliver this change for the community that will really reinvigorate Loganley and Meadowbrook. I wouldn't even mind seeing that Loganley train station get renamed to the Meadowbrook train station to mark its new location and immediately opposite the Logan Hospital. But this will allow us to redevelop the area and really encourage investment in Loganley, which has been slow for the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm excited to see how fantastic the finished product is going to look. Mr Mayor, I have no further comments on the agenda, and I open the floor to other councillors.
Thank you, Councillor Raven. Any other councillors wish to speak? Councillor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I want it noted that I will be abstaining on item 4.3 when it comes to the vote. But there is a confidential report, so I'm just going to be very cautious how I word this, being Springwood Town Square. This is probably the first time it's been brought to the public's attention. But basically what I can say is, which is what in the recommendation, that a feasibility study and concept design will be done for a future Springwood Town Square. So that being said, this is one of the 3 projects that I have been lobbying state candidates in the upcoming state election, and being an independent person, non-party aligned person, I've lobbied all major political parties in this particular with this particular project, and 1.5 million has been committed by one particular candidate. So I'll leave that. I won't say any more because, like I said, it is a confidential report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Any other further comments? No being so. Councillor Raven, I'll bring it back to you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I now move the recommendations of the City Planning, Economic Development and Environment Committee meeting held on the 9th of September 2020 be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Raven. Councillor Raven has moved the motion. I'm looking for a seconder. Councillor Hall has seconded the motion. I'll now put it to the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That's carried unanimously. Councillor Bradley.
Please.
I just want to say that that motion has been carried. Councillor Bradley, you want to bring about that? What were you doing? Abstaining from the vote?
Yes,
For which one again?
4.3, please.
4.3. Okay, that's been noted.
Thank you.
Okay, councillors, thank you. We now go on to the City Lifestyle Committee. I now refer to the City Lifestyle Committee held on the 30th of September 2020. Councillor Karansky, Chairperson of the City Lifestyle Committee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. There were no conflicts of interest declared in the committee meeting, but before we move into discussion, do any councillors have any further conflicts of interest that they wish to declare? There being none, I'll now speak to the recommendations. The reports presented and supported at the City Lifestyle Committee last week provided councillors with updates and insights into the vast and varied projects delivered across our community. And it was my great pleasure to provide councillors with an update on the outcomes of the city's much-loved programs, including Live Well Logan, Move at Logan, and the ever-popular Crank program, which I know is particularly popular with Councillor Wilcox. We are pleased to share the positive community benefits these programs continue to provide across the city for our residents in Logan. It was also wonderful to hear the progress councillors made in the last year with the implementation of the Access and Inclusion Plan. This strategic plan guides council's practices upholding the rights of people of all abilities, with 9 priority areas identified in the Logan community. Further progress has also been made in amending the local law to support people in our community with disability car parking permits, following recent changes made at a state level. The councillors were also very pleased to welcome Queensland Rugby League, who provided an insight into the challenges they face in the COVID-19 environment, as well as the exciting opportunities ahead for Rugby League in Logan and the South East region. I'd like to once again offer my thanks to QRL for their presentation, and I'd also like to acknowledge our dedicated council officers who continually strive to deliver exceptional service for our city. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Karansky. Any other councillors wish to speak? Councillor Wilcox.
Thank you. I just would like it noted that I did vote against to 8.1.
Okay, you'll bring that forward later. Yep, thank you. Any other councillors wish to speak? No other councillors wish to speak. Thank you, Councillor Karansky.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I now move that the recommendations of the City Lifestyle Committee held on the 30th of September 2020 be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Karansky. Councillor Karansky has moved the motion. I'm looking for a seconder. Councillor Lane has seconded the motion. I now put it to the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously, therefore the motion has been carried. Okay, thanks, councillors.
Mr Mayor, could I please have it noted against 5.1 that I abstained from the vote?
Okay, and Councillor Wilcox?
That I voted against 8.1, please.
Okay, thank you, councillors. Okay, councillors, we have no council reports to consider. We have no late reports to consider. Petitions. Do any councillors have a petition to present? I believe Councillor Bradley has a petition, so we'll deal with hers first. You've given the... Yep, you have, so that's good. Councillor Bradley, would you like to discuss the petition?
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. I raised this last council ordinary meeting that a petition has been submitted for a childcare centre in Lamorna Street, 36 Lamorna Street, Rochedale South. So I wish to move what is up on the screen that it be referred to the Director of Strategy and Sustainability for further investigations. Okay,
so you've moved that motion. Looking for a seconder to move that motion, councillors. Councillor Murphy has seconded. We'll put it to the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously, therefore that motion's been carried. Any other petitions, councillors? No? Okay. Thank you. Consideration of notified motions. We have no notified motions to consider. General business. I now open general business for discussion. Now, where did we finish last time? So it's Councillor Hall's turn this time? No, Councillor Raven. Okay, Councillor Raven, you got any general business?
No, I do not.
Councillor Hall?
No.
Councillor Fraser?
I have none, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Hirameyer?
Not at this time, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Bannon?
No, this way.
Councillor Stemp?
Not today, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Wilcox?
Not today, thanks.
Councillor Murphy?
Not at this time.
Councillor Bradley?
So sorry.
No, Councillor Bradley has got GB. Okay.
If I may, thank you. On the 26th of September this year was the opening of Stage 2 of Underwood Park redevelopment, which saw Rochedale Springwood Meals on Wheels receive a new facility up at Underwood Park, and Mr Mayor, you were in attendance, and I'm very grateful for that. Rochedale Rovers received a new clubhouse and change rooms and storage for the Rats Cycling Club. So prior to being elected, councillors, you may not be aware of this. As a councillor in 2008, I was actually a volunteer at Rochedale Springwood Meals on Wheels, so I saw firsthand the confined space that everyone had to operate from. So effectively, Underwood Park redevelopment was 12 years in the making before it came to fruition. And over the years, varying needs have been put together like pieces of a puzzle, and during the course, the community were consulted with different options. And this couldn't have happened without accumulated seed funding from Division 1's money, which was leveraged on for further council and state funding. And obviously this was a huge project, and I cannot take credit for the final outcome, as what was added and removed actually happened during administration, and where the fine-tuning occurred with state government and council's administration. And yesterday I met with two representatives of Rochedale Springwood Meals on Wheels, and there's still outstanding issues to be dealt with before they can move into the premises allocated for them, including no screen on the kitchen door, air conditioning in the kitchen, a number of power points in the kitchen. The sinks aren't even big enough for them to wash pots and pans, and a bench has to be recycled and adapted from Yarrow Street Community Centre for them to utilise. And I've also expressed my concern within council that the new community hall at Underwood Park was passed on to council with just a sink and a bench, no cooking facilities to make the space hireable by the community. All the sporting clubs, however, were fortunate to receive commercial kitchens in their clubhouses. The initial vision changed somewhat, however, Underwood Park now has football clubhouse, community hall, Meals on Wheels kitchen, netball clubhouse and change rooms, BMX club facility, mountain bike storage, and soon a cafe, which is presently out for tender, which is my understanding. The Underwood Park redevelopment will support and help our community be connected and active now and into the future. The project was able to come to fruition thanks to council's partnership with the state government, with a total cost of $12.2 million. The number of local clubs now call Underwood Park home, including Underwood Park Netball Association, Rochedale Rovers Football Club, Rochedale Tigers Rugby League, Rochedale South Cricket Club, Logan City BMX Academy, Rochedale Mixed Softball and Springwood Softball Clubs, Rochedale Girl Guides, and now Rats Cycling Club. Many of the user groups from Yarrow Street Community Centre will also be calling Underwood Park home, like Springdale Garden Club and the Rochedale Springwood Meals on Wheels. So that's all I wish to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Your electorate has been very well looked after. Thank you. Councillor Lane.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Just a shout out for local residents in Division 2. There's an election coming up. We've all heard about it. We've watched it on the news. Just to let them know that early voting will be commencing soon. It starts from the 19th of October, and for Division 2, possibly Division 3, 5 and whatever residents, but I just worry about Division 2, they can actually early vote at 23 to 25 Ironstone Road at Berrimba, which is the industrial area just down here off Wembley Road, or at Crestmead PCYC Hall. I think there's a lot of confusion around postal voting and what they can and can't do. My suggestion is to ring ECQ and inquire if you're used to getting one at your home. If you do early voting or you're worried about attending a school on election day, go to the early voting centre. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Councillor Russell?
No, thank you.
Councillor Kerensky?
Not at this time, Mr Mayor.
Okay, councillors, well, that's finished. So we're at 9:41. I now officially close the meeting. Thank you. We will be starting our briefing sessions at 10 o'clock. So if you want to obviously get a cup of coffee, toilet break or whatever, and we'll meet you over there on level 3. Thank you.